Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today's card is for a crafty friend who's celebrating a big birthday, and you can see which one on the card. So I've decided to use the Altenew Peony Bouquet stamp set because I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I have asked my crafty friend which color she liked, and she said red, as well as another color, but I picked the red, and I went from Altenew Crisp Ink and picked my shade of red. So I've drawn the number 40 with a pen onto my Nina Solar White, and then I use my very light shade of red to stamp the first layer, and that flower, I don't know why, it's a tiny flower, but I absolutely love it. So then I pick my second color and I stamp the second layer. And then you can start seeing the number appearing. It's a rather simple card, but there's so much detail in that stamp that I don't think you actually need that much, I want to say faffing, that much add-on on it really. So here's the third layer, so that a darker shade of red. I really like this red. I mean, I kind of wish it was even redder in a way, but it builds up really well when you use each three colors. And then I use my greens, and I add the little stems. So for the four, I kind of created a little tail, so that represents like the number 4. And then I just use it's not really the stem, I'm not quite sure how it's called, to be honest. For the green part for the other flowers, I just took the top. I didn't take the stem, so that I keep my design in one place, if you know what I mean. I hope the video is clear enough, or clearer than my explanation at least. I did use a mask for some of them, just to make sure I wasn't double stamping on the flowers, because that would have spoiled it a little bit. And then I add my darker shade of green, and among the 3 shades of green, I think I used the 2 darker ones. And then I will use a little bit of Copic just to go over a little bit, because I like to have a little bit of depth and definition. I use a normal an eraser to remove the pen, and then I add a bit of shading. And I do like my shading. I think it doesn't take that much more work, but I think it adds, it's hard to explain. It's just dimension. It just adds dimension, and when you look at it, I don't know our eyes how they work. It adds that something that I really like about cards. 1 layer card that look like they're popping out. And I mean, you could go further and use a C5 or even a C7. But I wanted the colors to remain subtle on that card, so I went for C3, C1, and 0 to do the shading, and it's subtle, and I think it looks quite nice. So I just go on and on with my little bit of shading, and then I just add a little bit more green, as I was talking about earlier, just to add a little bit more dimension on the green part of the flower. And it's nice to have that contrast between the light flower petals and a darker green, and I think it looks quite well. So then I trim my edges, because I realized it was not easy to kind of center it, because I did it by hand and not with a stamp. So then I trimmed my card, and I picked a color of cardstock. I put some glue at the back, and then I realized I didn't do the edges, so I decided to color the edges just to make sure they're neat. And then I trimmed a little bit again, just to make sure that it was all cut to size. I added my card front on top of it. I trimmed again. There's a lot of trimming here. I just glued my card front, and then I kind of realized that it wasn't quite right, and I got lucky. I managed to pull it off and put it back on, and then just trim the bottom a little bit. And I got really lucky on that one, because I would have been quite disappointed if it didn't work. So then I added some glossy accent, but only on the darker part, so you may not see it that much on the video or on the photos, but in real life it looks quite nice. And it adds that little bit of dimension, not too much, but just enough that the darker part of the flower just pops, and I think it looks really good. So I wanted to wish a happy birthday to my crafty friend Ruth. Hopefully you have received a card by now, and I hope you have a great time for your birthday. Thank you very much for watching. For photos, please head over to my blog. Have a great day. Bye!